I really would love to sleep longer than 3 hours at a time. And if you are struggling to get enough milk in 30 to 40 minutes, you will want to look at. Now, obviously, how many times you pump a day will kind of determine how long you pump for. Hey y'all, Noli here. I am an exclusive pumping mom and I make videos about my exclusive pumping journey and my journey as a first-time mom. I just want to help get information out into the world about anyone who is thinking about exclusive pumping or is starting their journey on it, because I really haven't been able to find a lot of information out there about it. So I really just want to help you all out and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you than it was for me when I was starting out exclusive pumping. Today we are going to be talking about the 5 golden rules of exclusive pumping. So number 1 is that you want to pump for a total of 2 hours or 120 minutes a day. And obviously that is going to be split up throughout the day in 24 hours. So if you pump less than 2 hours, then you could create an undersupply. And if you pump more than 2 hours, you could create an oversupply. So that 2-hour mark is just like that sweet spot of not too much and not too little. The second golden rule is that you don't want to pump for more than 30 to 40 minutes at a time to avoid putting too much stress on your boobs and on your nipples. If you pump for longer than that, you can damage them and you can end up not having as good of an output. Now, obviously, how many times you pump a day will kind of determine how long you pump for. For example, if you are pumping every 3 hours, or 8 times a day, then you're going to want to pump 15 minutes per pump session. But if you're only pumping 4 times a day, then you're going to want to pump for 30 minutes each session. So it really does depend on each person individually, what your body can take. But usually about 30 minutes, 40 max is a good range for you. Is that good stuff, huh? And if you are struggling to get enough milk in 30 to 40 minutes, then you will want to look at your flange size and the pump that you are using. Ideally, you would want to be using a hospital grade pump for the majority of your pump sessions. If you have a portable one or a wearable one, those are okay to use for 1 to 2 pump sessions a day, but the majority of them should be with a hospital grade pump because that is going to get you the best output without putting any excessive stress on your body. The third golden rule is that you want to follow your baby's cues. Whenever they eat, you want to pump. And obviously, it can be hard to pump and feed at the same time. So you can either pump before or after your baby feeds, but you really want to just follow their cues on how often they eat and also how much they eat. You want to be obviously expressing enough for your baby to eat, but you also don't want to be expressing too much because then you can create an oversupply. And it's okay to have a little bit of an oversupply, if you want to create a freezer stash, if you want to get that going for whenever you need it. Are you done? Are you done? Do you feel better? But ideally, you want to follow your baby's cues and pay attention to how much they're eating and how often, so that you can know how much you need to pump so that you can get enough for them without getting too much. The fourth kind of goes along with following your baby's cues, but you want to wait to drop a pumping session until your baby has also dropped that feeding session. So that's really going to come into play at night. Typically, you'll be pumping about 2 times a night whenever your baby is young. What are you doing? Can I put you down now? Want to say hi? What's going on? What's Mama doing? Yeah, so typically that's going to come into play at night. Eventually, your baby will start sleeping longer at night, and eventually you can work up to dropping that first nightly pump session. And you want to wait until your baby stops needing that feeding before you drop that pump session. And another thing going along with that is that whenever you do drop a session, you want to make sure that you add that time in your other pump sessions so that you still have that 2-hour pumping time total. So for example, if you pump for 15 minutes usually, but you drop a session, you want to reallocate that 15 minutes into your other pump times. And you can do that however you feel you need to, but you always want to make sure that whenever you are dropping a pumping session, that you're adding that time elsewhere so that you still have a 2-hour pump time total for 24 hours. But that is number 4. You want to follow your baby's cues when dropping one of those sessions. So going into the 5th and final golden rule that kind of goes along with this, what you doing? Is that you also want to wait to drop a session until your body feels physically ready for it. And I know, you may mentally be ready, like, oh yeah, I really would love to sleep longer than 3 hours at a time. But you want to listen to your body and let your body tell you when to drop that session. That first pumping session can be the easier one to drop. But that second one, that usually, around 4 a.m., that can be the harder one to drop, because once you drop that, you're going to be going the entire night, from 10 p.m. to 6 or 7 a.m. without pumping. And if you don't wait until your body is ready, it can dramatically affect your supply. So you want to make sure you listen to your body whenever you're dropping one of those sessions. Whenever my son stopped waking up in the middle of the night to eat, I still waited like a whole month before. What are you doing? I still waited like a whole month before I actually dropped that pumping session around 4 a.m. Because I just felt like my body wasn't ready for it yet. I felt like if I went ahead and dropped that pump session, that my supply would decrease. Whenever I finally did drop that session, it went super well. So I'm glad that I waited. And that is it. That is all that I have for you. If you liked this video, please like it. Please comment if you have any questions or anything else that I didn't touch on that you want to add, so that everyone can know. And be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Be sure to like. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Hopefully that worked.